Well, hello again, and welcome to another episode of the North Phoenix Chamber of Commerce candidate interviews for uh, November 2022. And I am blessed and grateful to be able to spend a few minutes here today with Anthony Kern. Hello, Anthony. How are you, sir?
Hello, Tom. I'm very good. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you for joining me today for this call. You are running for a state Senate position here in Arizona for November 2022 for Legislative District 27.
Yes, sir.
You just told me. So that's the northwest corner of our chamber space. So for those of you that are watching this, if you're Glendale, Peoria, and up in that space over in that area, Anthony Kern will be your state senator. So I'm asking every candidate the same set of 4 questions. I'm keeping this really straightforward because I want the same set of questions for the business community to hear your perspective and help them make a more informed decision on November 8th. So I'm going to start out with the first of the 4. What differentiates you from your opponent, and especially if you can expand on from a business perspective?
Sure. Thank you, Tom, and thank you to the North Phoenix Chamber of Commerce. Appreciate all you guys do, and in our community and in the business community specifically. So, what differentiates me between myself and my opponent is that I'm NFIB endorsed, National Federation of Independent Business endorsed. I am a small business owner. I run a private investigation business. Have had it for about 7 years. And I know a lot of small business people. I am a less government, less regulation, quick permitting type guy. I am for the small business, and I think there's a lot we can do to ensure that Arizona continues to remain a small business friendly type state.
Fantastic. So, Anthony, do you have any legislative plans that impact the businesses within your district and, of course, across the state? Either things that you're considering as maybe bills that you want to see proposed this next session, or any legislation or bills that are in the way, anything old that needs redone or pulled out that's in the way of business?
Right, right. Well, Tom, that's a great question. I've been kind of asked that so I was a former legislator. I was representing LD 20, Legislative District 20, for 6 years. And when I first went into the state legislature, I was always asked that question: what are your goals? What do you want to do? And I never could really answer that until about 2-3 years ago, when I was rules chairman down at the state house. And I realized my goal down there is to actually get rid of less government, get rid of regulation, get rid of statutes, get rid of anything that would hinder a person's ability to direct their lives, direct their businesses. So, do I have legislation in mind that would be business friendly? I mean, anything that anybody comes up with that would be business friendly, I would be in favor of. If that means removing state statutes, if that means less government, if that means not shutting down businesses should there be another pandemic down the road. I think Governor Ducey did a decent job on that. But I think the main thing I'm gonna look at when I get down to the Capitol is ensure that our government never shuts down our businesses again, no matter what the reason. That should be a private issue. That should be a personal issue. Government can kind of set the parameters, but they should never force businesses to close again. So that's going to be one of my main objectives when I get down there, to ensure that small businesses can remain open if they want. They can shut if they want. It's really up to them, and it's not up to government. So I'm a real small government guy. Anything we can do to get government out of our lives, that would be beneficial to all of us.
Perfect. So sort of along those lines then too, what's kind of near and dear to my heart is economic growth in North Phoenix in particular. Do you have any ideas or any plans or thoughts around helping foster growth and helping with economic growth besides what you've already shared? Because I think that's huge. Getting some regulation out of the way as much as possible, getting government out of the way as much as possible, at least breaks down some barriers. But and then from there, I mean, at least it helps us continue to survive. But then, how do we thrive? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I would like to see, Tom, the communication line continued to be open between state government and any business owner out there, the North Phoenix Chamber, but any businessman, any businesswoman out there that would like to kind of get some input from the state legislative component, would love to have have them give me a call. My doors are always open. I think communication, they're going to see stuff that I will not see. I'll be down at the Capitol. They'll be out,
Right.
creating their business. They'll be out expanding their business. They'll be out, trying to get their permits, trying to get their, if they're building new construction, trying to get that taken care of. So there's a lot of hurdles you have to jump nowadays to start a small business, to
Mhm.
keep your business going. There's a lot of things you got to look at. There's a lot of economic uncertainty out there. So my line will be always be open. And I would love to meet on a regular basis with the North Phoenix Chamber. Would love to meet on a regular basis with any business owner out there. If they want to, several of them come on in. I think it's a good thing.
Mhm. Fantastic. Yeah, I think our chamber is in that unique position to be that community
Yes.
um, connector. It's one of our it's part of our business our value proposition is that we're a connector, a champion, and a catalyst.
Right.
And being that connector means that we're connecting the leaders and the influencers in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And being the small business owners are leaders and influencers, our elected officials are leaders and influencers. And if we can help make all those connections happen to get things done, and the trick is to finish that sentence and say to get things done, is something that I don't always say when I talk about being a connector, but I'm going to start adding that a lot.
Yes, sir.
So that's fantastic, and our chamber will be part of that conduit to make sure that everything we have open channels, and
Yes.
folks have access to you that may not know how to access their senators and representatives and city council members, even though you guys always have your doors open. But
Yeah.
the chamber helps facilitate some of that sometimes.
Yeah. Good.
Uh, Final thing I'd like to chat with you about, last question is there anything else that you've covered quite a bit? I think you touched on a lot of where you're wanting to head with this campaign and where you're going to head when you win the seat. Is there
Mhm.
anything else you want to share with the business community of why they should support you? Anything in particular, maybe around other thoughts that you haven't shared with us yet? Because I
Yeah.
think you hit it pretty well already.
Yeah, Tom. Thank you. And a couple of things that are happening out there, as you and I know, the homelessness issue. We've got to do something about homelessness. We've got to do something with homelessness and encampments around businesses out there. I'm actually working with a business in Central Glendale who he has had, and we've had meetings with the mayor, we've had meetings with the council, with the police. There are, there's criminal activity going on around his business. He's
Mhm.
done everything he can to make it aesthetically keep the homelessness away by trimming up his trees, by putting in cameras, by contacting the other businesses around him. But the bottom line is he's really having a hard time. They're defecating, they're urinating. So we've got to do something to fix that. I know that the governor that I'm supporting, which is Carrie Lake, she has already vowed to do something. There's a couple components there. You get them the help they need, but they need to work, and they need to it'll be they'll be moved off the streets. Let me just put it that way. So that's one issue. The second issue I think out there to create economic growth is to ensure that our neighborhoods, our commercial areas are safe, which means, in my eyes, to make sure our police are funded adequately, to make sure that the hiring process for the police, is either incentivized or is easier
Mhm.
when young recruits are trying to get in the police department. But we need to fully support our police. We need to back the blue. I used to be a Tombstone Reserve Deputy Marshal down in Tombstone, so I know the law enforcement community. And we just need to they need to know that we back them 100%. And so I think those two things will really contribute to economic stability. And will contribute to consumers coming over to the North Phoenix area
Mhm.
and buying products, or or visiting those businesses. There's a reason why people are leaving California, and that's because of high taxes, that's because of high regulation, that's because of homelessness and crime, rampant crime. And so, as a Republican candidate for the Arizona State Senate, um, I fully support our police removing homelessness from the street, low taxes, low government, and keep our communities safe, but at the same time, fully support our small businesses. And anything I can do, any struggle that your business community's having out there, please, reach out to my office.
Mhm.
We'll work on it. Yeah, and I don't care if you're an LD 27, if you're an LD 2, if you're an LD, any of the LD, if you're anywhere in Arizona, if you have an issue that you need someone to look at it at the state senate,
Mhm.
please reach out to Anthony Kern, and I'll do everything I can to point you in the right direction.
I'm going to pop up your contact information on the lower third
Okay.
when I wrap up this interview. How would you like folks to get a hold of you?
Uh,
What's your best contact information?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I have contact information on my website, votekern.com. So it's www.votekern, that's VOTEKERN.com.
Okay.
And Tom, you have my personal number. So if you want to
Mhm.
give out to anybody my personal cell phone, feel free. I give you permission to do that. Or
Okay.
have them go through you. You contact me.
Okay.
My time will be available to you guys, and I appreciate everything you do in the North Phoenix Chamber. Heard lots of good things about you guys, and
Mhm.
just keep up the good work. Arizona strong. I think our best days are ahead.
Mhm.
Right now, it's a little turbulent. Right now, there's a lot going on. Everybody's dealing with a lot of issues. There's a
Right.
lot of uncertainty out there, but I think we get past the November 8 midterms. I think you're going to see Arizona is going to lead the nation in a lot of things, but definitely in our economic environment, in our less government environment, and just in our business environment. So keep up the good work, Tom, and I appreciate all you do.
Fantastic. It'll be good to have you back at the Capitol. So
Yes,
take
good to
care,
be back.
Anthony, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, take care. God bless.